Greetings. I hope everyone is well today. I just opened my Webull desktop app and I launched this open broadcasting studio software to record myself. Now, I'm not an expert trader by any means. I'm just a beginner. Why do I record these videos? Because it forces me to be accountable, and when I have to think out loud like this, it makes me really reconsider mistakes before I make them. The setup I have down here has a heat map, general industries from Webull, but my own personal watch list I like to add there. You can see the difference. Sometimes I would get deceived by what I thought were very good positions and good trends, only to see what I have on my own watch list was doing the exact opposite. In any case, I'm not going to talk that much until I see something happening. My watch list over here. GLD, I was interested in something that has to do with trading the price of gold. It might have a bit of volatility. Typically, I look at QQQ and SPY. I found one called the IBIT. It's a fund that trades in the price of Bitcoin. Might not be something that useful to me right now, but I'll keep my eye on it. In any case, QQQ. I think I should pick one and stick with it. So it's 9:30, the market opened. As you can see, I have my indicator here working. The 1 minute chart, it's opening range, it's going up there, so I'll see if there's something I should do. Maybe I'll take a position. I put in an order for position. I have it set for take profit at 30%. Stop losses at 15. It's actually moving pretty vertical right now. I'm not sure what's going on in the market there, but if I do have to make a correction, I will. Again, normally I don't like to take positions during the open. It looked like the trend was going to reverse. The 9 EMA was down below the 21. We'll see what happens. If I get stopped out, so be it. I just got stopped out. Big deal. That shows you why you should not take trades just at the open. Let's wait for the actual opening range to establish itself and go from there. Account details, I started at 364. I just lost $19, so I'm down to 345. What I have here is purple lines, and my indicator are automatically tracing out the edges of the opening range. The blue lines here are the pre-market. If it crosses below the pre-market as a low, I think I should get into a put. We'll take a look at the 5 minute chart also. It's good to change time frames. Looks pretty indecisive right now. It's hard to see on the chart, the blue line being the EMA 21, the EMA 10, and the green line being EMA 30. I forgot I changed them yesterday from 9 and 21 to 10 and 30. It just crossed over. It tells me there's an uptrend. I should probably get in on a call option again. Tried to, the order didn't go in quickly enough. I'll cancel it. Let's try it again. So I have a position it went in. Let's see if this one makes any money. Just got stopped out again. Lost another 15%. Now my account is down to $326. I lost $38 today. But that's why you shouldn't break the rules and trade during the opening range. What I'm going to do now is just wait until 9:45 and see what it looks like. I only have $133 of settled cash that I can trade with, so that should be enough later on to get me into a position that at least has decent delta. Let me make one change in the settings here. I don't have it including the wicks and the ranges for pre-market and for the opening range. I'm going to include those right now. You can see the difference. So let's go back to our 1 minute chart. That's kind of important. I'm told that you should only be consistent whether you include the wicks or not in your highs and lows. If you look at it, it does make a difference. We'll just leave it like this. I'd like to keep peeking back at the 5 minute chart. When I see this down below it, it shows me that the buyers are pushing the price up. Although I have a high wick at the top, it tells me they couldn't keep it there. So let's see what happens next. I want to wait for this candle to close, and once again, no trades for me until the opening range has been established. So I can't do anything until after 9:45. It's exciting though. GLD is moving pretty nicely. pretty big spread between the bid and the ask. I'll stay away from that. Back to QQQ. Today it looks a little bit closer between the pre-market high and low and the opening range than it was yesterday. Still looks indecisive concerning the opening range, so this might be a time where I actually have an opening range breakout opportunity. I'm not going to force it like I attempted to do with the previous two. Instead, I'll wait and see if I have confluence, if I have a few signals that align, and if not, I'll wait until later. I promised I would think out loud, and I am. Looking at these lines here, the light blue one, that's my 10 period EMA. The yellow is my volume weighted average price, and the green is my 30 period EMA. I don't like the idea that they're split around VWAP. Price just dropped down below the VWAP. We're still establishing the opening range though. It's only 9:39. I have to wait until 9:45. So I guess I'll just sit on my hands. Looking at the volume here, most of it seems to be focused around sellers. I'm just going to keep an eye here on the opening range low, which, even though it's not still perfectly established, the pre-market low is right down there. If price crosses the pre-market low, doesn't really matter if the opening range has been completely established yet. I think that would be a signal. I know these red and green bars are distractions. That's part of the settings I made just so I could easier spot when a crossover has occurred. These tiny red and green dots don't really work for my eyes, but that's all Webull could do. Okay, price broke down below. I think that's my signal. Let's wait for it to bounce or do something. Buyers are pushing that up. It looks like that's actually a line of support. We'll have to let the candles close. Look at the pure volume of sellers. If we have a candle close down below the pre-market, that tells us we have our direction. Let's take a look back at the 5-minute chart. See that? Still shows it looks to be a line of support. Tried to get the order in, it took too long. Maybe that's a good thing because the price still hasn't indicated that the trend has changed. Oh, I don't see my crossover lines. Maybe I should put those back. VWAP itself looks like it became resistance. You notice there is a little bit of a fair value gap here that needs to get filled. Just filled it. Unfortunately, this looks like one of those cases where if you don't see a perfect setup, don't take a trade. I tried to force 2 earlier on and you saw what happened there. We just broke down below our opening range low. I think I should wait for it to close. Or I can get in. So I have a position here. What I'll do is I'll view this put in a widget, a chart. Guess what just happened? That fast, when it reversed, I got stopped out of that one too. Total today I lost was $60 each time I got stopped out of that 15%. So today was a losing day, but that's what happens when you try to force trades. I'm just going to let this keep going for a while and see what would have happened later on. Or perhaps at 12 o'clock, that would be a better time to look back at the chart. Looking at what's happening here right now tells me the answer to something I had hoped was incorrect. The settings I'm using for take profit at 30% and the stop limit at 15, or stop loss at 15 rather, are probably too tight. Because of the strategy I'm trying to use, I think I would need to expand the range of the stop loss to as high as 50%. Why? So when it whipsaws and it's being indecisive, if I enter before I'm supposed to, it will have some room to breathe. Of course, I will ask Microsoft Copilot again what the best take profit and stop loss would be, but I think it did give me a response similar to that before. Something outrageous like 50% stop loss and 20 or 30% take profit. Five-minute chart shows it's a clear downtrend. It's just my settings for take profit and stop loss were way too narrow. Let me look at this 592 put in a widget and let's see what would have happened. Remember, I bought it at 130. Look at it go. It's up to 160. I could have made $30. Let's see how high it goes. I don't care about looking at the options chain right now. I'm not getting any more positions. I'm just looking at this particular put option and its own chart. It's tracking the value of the contract while I'm simultaneously looking at the value of QQQ itself, the price. If I were in a position, I would have been able to set a take profit or a stop loss here. $175. I already would have made 32%. So it would have kicked me out here. Not kicked me out, it would have taken profit at this point. Let's see how far it would have gone. That's the beauty of this widget. I bought in at 130. I could mark that there, and that's what the price has gone up to. I'm not in a position where I could make any money today, but I'm still going to record just so maybe you can learn from the mistakes I made here. You see it actually touched 181, and a quick calculation, 181 divided by 130, I would have made 39% profit. Again, and honestly it would have been 30% because I had my take profit set to 30%. Now instead of having my stop loss set at 50%, perhaps I can do what some traders suggest and don't even set a stop loss at all. Well, that's kind of hard for me to do. I would have to sit here and monitor it. You saw that would probably prevent me from getting stopped out the way I had earlier on, so I do have to take that in consideration. But let's switch back at the 5-minute chart. Yeah, 5-minute chart shows we're definitely in a downtrend. Ignore the noise on the lower time frame of the 1 minute. Switch back to the 5. This little number number is all I'm really concerned about, is the one that tells me what the actual price would have been of the contract. I bet it goes to 185 or 190. Did it hit 185, 188, 192? Look at that. Buying it at 60 without even doing calculations, rather buying it at 130 and having it go up to 192, I would have made $62. Pretty much it would have recovered from the losses that I had. When this is moving so low from QQQ down to 590s, I wonder if it hits 589 today. Now that makes me very curious to see what the price of Bitcoin is. You won't see it on that window, the way this broadcasting studio works. But I'll tell you the honest answer. Oh, it says it's at 91,489. At least you can see from the chart of QQQ the ranges that it has. Going down here, going down here. They kind of are the polar opposite of what we have on the widget for that's what we have in the widget for the actual put option. Let me get rid of some of these. Wow, look at that. It hit 221. As this is going down, look at it go. Well, you can see that's what I've learned from what I did today. What do we not do? Break the rules. Look at that skyrocket. It's at 248. Let's see how high it goes, just for kicks. By the way, 248 divided by 130, I would have made 118%. Sorry. I would have made, hold on. I would have made 90%. $261, well, there would have been 100% profit there. Let's just leave this going. Remember, we bought it at 130. So all I have to do is what? Either don't use the stop loss and just monitor it, or do use a stop loss and have the stop loss very wide. I guess I'll have to check that. Stop loss maybe at 50%. Look at it go. Wow. The way these like to move, I wouldn't be surprised if it hits 325, the put option. Looking at this heat map, everything is definitely going down. Well, that's enough for me today. Hopefully you've learned from my mistakes, which are don't try to force a trade. I did not see the price go down below the pre-market range, which are these blue lines. I did not see until this is later on in the opening range, the first 15 minutes. That did not happen. This is after the first 15 minutes, so once the candle closes down below both the pre-market and the opening range, that indicates that it's in a downtrend. We see the EMA 10 was down below VWAP. Don't really care about the EMA 30, that is a laggard. But that tells me pretty much what I needed to know. I will have to adjust my position strategy, and I will have to make the stop limit be, or the stop loss be about 50%, just like suggested by Copilot. Or take it away completely and manually manage everything. If you look back at this though, it suddenly did a U-turn, as does the price of the put option. So if that had happened, even if it came back down this far, we'd still be up $34. Not as good as being up 164, but you can see the difference there. Doesn't look like a whole lot going on the 5-minute chart, but it's a little clearer on the 1-minute chart. Yeah, that's enough for me. Like I said, I'll post both the wins and the losses, so hopefully somebody can get some value out of this. Until next time.